Okay, Madam Chair, you are live.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this special meeting of the Board of Governors with a couple pieces of very important business today. Before we begin, let me ask Toya to take a roll call.
Yes, Madam Chair. Senator David Argall or his designee, Cindy Urban. Governor Robert Bogle.
And Cindy's here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sorry, Senator Argall should be joining us shortly. But this is Cindy.
Representative Tim Briggs. Governor Quentin Bullock.
Here.
Governor Richard Caruso.
Present.
Governor Brandon Dons.
Here.
Governor William Gindelsberger.
Present.
Akbar Hossain on behalf of Governor Shapiro.
Present.
Vice Chair David Mazer.
Here.
Governor Marian Moskowitz.
She can't be
Representative
with us today.
Okay, great. Thank you. Representative Brad Roy. Senator Judith Schwenk or Tess Hoffert on her behalf.
Yeah.
Chair Cynthia Shapira.
Here.
Governor Ali Sina Sharifi.
Here.
Dr. Kate Shaw on behalf of Secretary Mumeen.
Here.
Vice Chair Samuel Smith.
Here.
Governor Robert Trainum.
Here.
Secretary Neil Weaver.
Here.
Dr. Tina Torelli-Humaniak. This completes the roll call and we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Toya. Next, we will have an opportunity for public comment. Let me turn to Randy to facilitate that.
Sure. For meetings that are virtual, we have two opportunities for the public to participate. One is if they show up in the office in person. And Toya, did we receive anybody there?
No guests here in the office.
Okay. And then if they request an opportunity to speak via phone 24 hours before the meeting, and we've gotten no requests there. So no public comment today, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from our union colleagues who are leading our statewide unions. Dr. Ken Mash to speak on behalf of APSCUF, I believe.
Did indicate he would be making remarks, but I don't see him on yet, so I'll reach out to him. Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Should we continue?
You can, and I'll reach out to him.
All right, that's great. All right, back to our board business now. We are going to consider our consent agenda, which includes approval of the 2024-25 E&G appropriation allocation. So as we know, the law requires that the funds we receive from the Commonwealth be distributed to the universities according to our established formula. Therefore, there's nothing really to decide at this point. As such, I will move approval of the consent agenda as listed in the board materials. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
No hands.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, thank you very much. The consent agenda passes. And then the next item we'll take up is tuition and tech fee. So before we take action to set tuition for the coming year, I am feeling so appreciative and so grateful and so thankful to the governor, to our legislative leaders, and to the General Assembly for yet another year of increased funding for our PASHA universities. So including the increased investment for this year, we will have seen our funding increase by nearly 1/3 just in the past 5 years. And that is just truly remarkable. But it says a lot about the partnership that we've built with our elected leaders who understand and appreciate the value of our PASHA universities. They see our faculty and staff who are delivering on the promise of affordable, high-quality education, and that this education and our universities are preparing Pennsylvanians not only to be outstanding citizens, but to help fill the high-demand roles that will keep our economy moving. So we have workforce alignment, we have great education, and we have an affordable tuition. And we are so grateful for the ability to provide all of that. We're also very excited, and I personally am so committed to the continuing conversation around higher education reform, which seeks to create more opportunities for students and to catalyze coordination and strategy among all colleges and universities here in Pennsylvania. We really look forward to continue working with our colleagues across the state, and especially with the advent of a new state board of higher education, which I also believe is such an outstanding advancement for our state, and with so many possibilities to help ensure that every student has access to opportunity, and that we, again, will align with the greatest needs of the Commonwealth. And with the community college president now on our board, we have even greater connectivity with our partners in that sector, so we can build on the successes we've already seen in recent years. So again, so many things, really such excitement as we continue in the next steps with higher education reform in the blueprint. And again, kudos to everyone involved. And with that, let me turn to Dan to say a few words before we take up our motion.
Thanks, Cindy. Appreciate that. Let me, first of all, echo your appreciation for support of the governor and the General Assembly. That support has been instrumental in so many things, including allowing us to keep our tuition flat for, I think, 5 years. And I think this is right, factoring in for inflation, that makes PASH's tuition about 25% or more less expensive today than it was in 2018, which is extraordinary, across higher education, frankly. And this is a result of our partnership with the state. And I want to talk a little bit about that. It's that partnership. In that partnership, PASH has acted transparently and as an exceptional steward of hard-earned taxpayers' dollars and to student tuition dollars, and it's made high-quality career-aligned education affordable and available to all Pennsylvania. That's our role, and in return, the state has continued to support us at an extraordinarily high level, and to your point, we appreciate that. I do want to say a few words as well about the budget bill that the governor signed last week, because it is enormously consequential for our students, for our system, and frankly, for all of Pennsylvanians. It enables us to keep tuition flat for yet another year. I'll come back to that in a second. It has a component of direct student funding, scholarship funding that goes directly to students who are entering programs of study that align closely with the most pressing workforce needs in the state. And as you'll know, and board members will know, we have advocated for that for several years now, including in budget requests, which propose to tie state appropriated dollars to more graduates in the highest demand fields, such as teaching and nursing. The bill includes a state higher education advisory board, which you've mentioned, which has so much potential to align efforts across a wonderfully diverse higher ed sector in the state in a way that's good for our students, it's good for their communities, and it's good for employers. And I don't say that as a policy geek, though I guess I'm a policy geek. I say that based on our experience. PASH's advances over the past few years, and they have been considerable, as you know, result really from two things. One, our partnership with the state, which I've discussed, and the aligned actions of our universities. And I just imagine what we can achieve in Pennsylvania if we can leverage that same kind of alignment at much greater scale. In recent years, as you know, we have already extended that work, that alignment of action, by working much more closely with our community college colleagues, robust, I would call them bulletproof transfer policies, which deliver best-of-breed results across the country in terms of the number of students who are able, the number of credit students who are able to transfer, and the rapidity to which they're able to reach their bachelor's degrees once at PASH. And we are moving aggressively now to bring these collaborations to the next level, focusing on the development of aligned pathways for our students, dual and simultaneous enrollments and other areas. And you've mentioned already President Bullock of Allegheny Community College is a new member of our board. I would like to think that he symbolizes and maybe reinforces that relationship. President Bullock, thank you so much for being here. And to you and all your colleagues, thank you so much for all of our students. And I look forward to our future continuing conversations and work. And obviously, Ashley looks forward to extending these collaborative efforts through this new advisory structure with other sectors. Last point, and then I'll stop, Madam Chair. Last night, I received an award on behalf of our system from the State Higher Education Executive officers. I'll hold it up, but I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It is the Exceptional Agency Award for implementing innovative actions, policies, and practices that advance student success, displaying exceptional governance practices and overcoming challenges. And that was a proud moment for all of us. I was glad to be here on our collective behalf. And in my brief remarks, I mentioned that our success is due to a small handful of things. Our mission-driven faculty and staff, they're exceptional, they care, they're as good as any in the country, in the business. Our university leadership, board leadership, our board and our board leadership, Madam Chair. And frankly, a legislature and successive administrations whose members genuinely understand the importance of higher ed and its connection to workforce development and social mobility. The dialogue that we have been able to have across those various corners in bringing people together in conversation about our future. And we don't always agree, as you know, but we care. And we roll up our sleeves and we dig in ways which are productive for our students. And that those conversations continue to exist at the highest level. They're reflected in this incredibly consequential legislation. And I just wanted to echo my thanks to the elected representatives who serve on our board. Thank you for participating so actively in those conversations and for your leadership, and to you, Madam Chair, for your leadership.
Well, Dan, thank you so much. I'm glad. I was actually going to also let the board know about the award that you got from SHIO.
Sorry.
Well, I think it's exceptional agency.
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. So we can, sort of collectively. It's really a testimony to incredible work and incredible partnerships all around. And board, I want you to, feel good too, because I read sort of the long criteria, what the award's all about, what it's for, et cetera. And it does include excellence in governance. So yeah, we can take a little bit of that too. But it's really outstanding. Congratulations, Dan. We're really so proud of you and so proud of the team. And as we keep saying, it's redundant, we'll say it again, the partnership that we have with all these key people in the state. So,
Madam Chair, I did thank you for that. One thing I neglected to do at the end of my comments was to say, for all these reasons and because of the support of the state, I am recommending that the board freeze tuition for an unprecedented another year. I don't know if that's 5 or 6.
well, thank you very much for that recommendation. I am going to we will get to that, and I am going to recommend the same. And I believe that that's in the board materials. So I'm going to put that motion on the floor, and then if there's any discussion, of course, we will have that. But with that, I hereby move that the board approves the 2024-25 tuition and technology tuition fee and tentative 2025-26 tuition schedule as shown in the board materials. Is there a second?
Second.
Excellent. Any comment or any questions before we take a vote?
Sam Smith has his hand up.
Yeah, thanks. Madam Chair, I just wanted to make one comment. And Dan and you, Cindy, have both kind of touched on it, but my recollection, and please, Dan, correct me if I am wildly wrong. My recollection is that several years ago when we first froze tuition, it was significantly because of some of the things that we were looking at in terms of the affordability aspects and the students that we were, that are our primary mission in this state. And I think it's just, I'm kind of saying this maybe for some of the newer members, but also just to kind of put a little, history on this a little bit. We were kind of ahead of the curve, quite frankly, I think, in terms of at least the bigger public cry. But it was really the focus of what Dan was talking about in terms of affordability and providing education that meets our workforce needs and getting all that kind of alignment together. And I just think that it's important to remember that we kind of stepped out on a limb the first year that we froze tuition. We didn't have, it wasn't like this year where we're saying, if you give us, 6.5%, we will be able to freeze tuition. And the fact that we forged that relationship with the legislature of trust that the system said it was going to do something, it did it. And that whole thing, that legislative relationship has been quite amazing, candidly. But the first year we froze it, we didn't have any kind of agreement in place. We did it because, and there were presidents I think were kind of reticent about it. We were concerned about the tuition freeze. So it wasn't like this big unanimous, let's go do this. Yeah. There was some concerns that we were maybe, cutting our nose off to spite our face.
Yeah, the first 2 years, Sam. 19 was
it 2? Yeah.
And then in 2020, in the midst of COVID. Yeah.
And I just don't want us to lose sight of some of that rather recent history, and appreciate that through all that I think we've done the right things for our students, trying our best to do the best for the system, and certainly the benefits. If we can stay this course, the benefits will continue to come our way. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. And I actually, you're making me think of something. I just want to add to that, which is to say, we did go out on a limb. We took a big risk that first year that we did it. And one of the reasons we took a big risk is because we didn't really understand as thoroughly as we should our own finances, our own costs. We were not working to the extent that we work with now, with data and analysis and the ability to actually understand that, a certain percentage increase could result in our ability to run this system and keep tuition flat. So I think in so many ways, and the main thing really is building the partnership and the trust, but we got there under Dan's leadership, and with this board's support and encouragement, and a push as well, to the point where we can make those kinds of financial calculations. We understand ourselves. We will never again be in a position where we're setting tuition based on a hope and a wish. And I think that's really important too. That's one of the reasons, that we keep getting noticed with things like SHIO a couple of years ago. It was AGB. This is the kind of turnaround that we have made, and it all fits together. But without this basics and the ability to understand and use data and evidence-based decision-making, we would not be where we are today. Okay. Yeah.
Can I just add, Madam Chair, to?
Oh, please, yes.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexina Sharifi, the new member from the student side. I actually am just expressing my gratitude to the governor and also the legislative body, and in addition to that, the work of the board, all the universities. From the student perspective, actually, I just wanted to sincerely thank all of you, which will help all of the students, the families in Pennsylvania and out of Pennsylvania. It's very sad to see that affordability comes forth and is a challenge ahead of a lot of people from coming to university. And that actually goes not only around Pesci, but also around the United States. And I hope this challenge will be overcome someday, but still as an institution and also as an institution that provides that kind of service to the students, I appreciate the work that everybody's doing, and I look forward to the next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate those words. And again, as we move toward this vote, another shout out and appreciation for our presidents as part of this team that got us to this place and supported what we did that first year too, by the way. They were taking maybe the biggest risk. Okay, any further comment or questions before we vote? Okay.
There are no hands.
All right, terrific. All in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
None.
Terrific. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you again so very much. And I think that completes our business for today. Unless there's anything else, Randy, or anybody else has business to bring up.
There's none.
Very good. Okay, with that, I move that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any objections?
None.